Hello, scrappy friends. Happy Monday. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. I was in Upland, California over the weekend, which is Southern California, about 45 minutes to 2 hours, depending on traffic outside of LA. I was teaching at Frank Garcia's studio. Just make sure I can hear myself. Perfect. We're good. Um, so I was teaching at Frank Garcia's studio, which if you've never been, it's absolutely worth a trip to his store alone because it is absolutely amazing. The nooks and crannies filled with so many scrapbook supplies and a lot of fabrics and stuff too. And he does have an online store, so be sure to check it out. Had so much fun scrapping with scrappy friends in person. We used my Lovely Lane collection to fill a 4x4 mini album. We made some layouts, which I have up on the wall behind me. And we also used Legendary, which is the first time that I was able to teach in person with Legendary, creating an arrow album. So I'll be sharing those on my socials all in good time, and we'll probably put the class PDFs in my shop too. I just need a couple more hours in the day. So got home late last night, unpacked all of my suitcases this morning, and I prepped. Well, today we are making a squash mini album, which I taught how to create at a free make and take at a little store it's in Colorado, north of Denver. I can't remember what the city is, but Andrea, if you're here and you remember what the city is, but the store is called the Tilted Brick. That's all that matters. If you Google the Tilted Brick, you'll be able to find it. And so it was a free make and take that I did there, and then decided to jump on and do a Make With Me Monday with you, showing how to create it. I apologize that it's been a hot minute since I've done a Make With Me Monday. The last one was technically in April, although I did go live in May for International Scrapbook Day. It's not for a lack of wanting to, it's just a matter of time, my friends. If I had like 40 hours in every day to accomplish everything that I wanted to, and that was on my list, we do Make With Me Monday every single Monday. And that was always my goal, but anyways, life, right? So I'm gonna flip the camera over and we'll get started making this squash mini album. Longmont, thank you. The Tilted Brick is in the city of Longmont, Colorado. And yes, let's switch to the above. Fantastic. And let me see. If you have any questions throughout this, just type question in all caps. That way I can see it better. Usually I just get so focused on what I'm doing that sometimes I forget to look over, but I love when you're here in the chat following along and creating all the pretty things. So in the description of this video, as well as in the posts that I've done in my Facebook group, I tried to make it clear that an electronic cutting machine is required for the base of this. So this is my 17th Make With Me Monday, and I think it's the first one that a cutting machine has been required. And I apologize for that. If you don't have an electronic cutting machine, check out your local library. I think libraries sometimes have Cricuts and Cameos that you can rent. Check out your local craft store. Check Craigslist. Also, Black Friday is coming up. I know that Amazon and stores and Target and everything, they have machines on sale. So there might be a way to finagle this base without an electronic cutting machine, but it's just so much easier to do it with one. So the SVG file, which you use with Cricut, is in the Dropbox folder. Everything, friends, is linked in the description of this video. So you can find the cut file, you can find this handy dandy printable PDF, which has the written instructions. It's got hyperlinked supplies to the exact supplies that I'm using. So links and descriptions will always be your best friend. So go searching there first, but if you still can't find what you're looking for, send me an email, send me a message, and I will hook you up. Oh, I'm so happy to have everybody here from near and far. I just love that scrapbooking can bring us together around the world. So there was just a tad bit of homework for this. All you needed to do or need to do if you're watching the replay is to cut out the squash mini album from smooth white cardstock. So I am using smooth white cardstock from Recollections, which is the Michaels brand. It's a bit thinner than standard cardstock, but I prefer that for this project because we'll be adding a lot of pattern papers. And actually for this project, I'm featuring mostly the card making kit, and the card bases are even thicker than the double-sided pattern papers in Happy Haven. So Happy Haven was my last collection with American Crafts. I have now moved on to Pink Fresh Studio. So we have 2 collections so far called Lovely Lane and Legendary. And we will be releasing my Christmas collection, I believe the first week of September. If not the first week, then the second week. So stay tuned on my socials, guys. I'm so excited. It's almost the holiday season. Okay, so, let me show you what we're making first. I've been talking about it and haven't even showed it. So this is the squash mini album, and I have it diamond shaped, but it's a square, right? So when it's all folded and squashed up together, it is just under 3 inches square. And Nicole just commented that Jane and Fox are so good at drawing. So last night when I was at the airport waiting for my flight, my husband sent me 2 pictures that Fox and Jane drew, and I was just so proud. Such a proud mama moment to see, like Jane doesn't scrapbook, Fox doesn't scrapbook, but they are artistic in their own ways, and it just makes me so happy, brings tears to my eyes. So posted those on my Instagram stories if you want to know what I'm talking about. They should still be there because, Instagram stories are there for 24 hours, so they should be there till tonight. Anyway, tangents. So when it's all folded up, it's just under 3 inches square. I've tied it together with 2 pieces of Ric Rac. You could also use like baker's twine or whatever ribbons you have from your stash. This is one of the few supplies that I didn't hyperlink. Actually, it's the only supply that I didn't give a link to is the Ric Rac. So I got these Ric Racs from AliExpress a long time ago, and it was just leftovers from my stash. So once you untie it, you've got this whole squash situation happening. It folds together and is just so fun and interactive. For the make and take that I originally created and taught this for, I did not really decorate the back sides except for these 4 squares. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 little triangular segments that I do want to see if I can embellish during today's Make With Me Monday. One of the gals who came to the make and take, she embellished both sides and uploaded it. She did like a reveal. She gave it to her friend while they were sitting outside of the Washington, was it the Washington Monument in DC? That tall obelisk shape. Anyway, she gifted it to her friend, filmed it, and then shared it in my Happy Scrappy Place Facebook group. And I was very inspired to decorate the back as well. Might as well, right? I mean, we've got both sides. Let's decorate them. First step is die cutting the base. So again, I've cut it from smooth white cardstock. It's a little bit thinner because it's going to get quite thick. And the folding isn't 100% perfect. Like some of these little corners are getting bent, but you know what? It is what it is, and I'm fine with it. So what I'm essentially going to do is follow along with the instructions. I have this diagram. Hi, Amy. Oh, you can't. Anyway, my cat just jumped across the back, but my face is only small. So I'm going to sit down and put my phone away and just get comfortable. I'm going to score. So the score lines should already be cut. If you're using the cut file, it comes with the score and fold lines. These 3 vertical lines we are going to fold backwards, and all of the diagonal lines we're going to fold forwards. So I hope I do this right. I haven't practiced since I made the sample. So folding backwards means on these vertical lines, folding the paper back. We do that 3 times. So on this straight line here on the left, the straight line here in the middle, we're folding the papers back. And then this 3rd vertical line, folding it backwards. Hope that's right. Oh, the stress. And then on the other lines, the diagonal lines, we're going to fold the paper forward. So I'm just putting my hand behind the back. I'm reaching behind, folding on that crease and opening it back up. So that's 1 of 6. So here on this diagonal line, I'm grabbing and folding over. So forwards. Same thing with these. Going to fold forward. This video will be saved for rewatching. So if I'm going too fast, you can watch on the replay, press pause, catch up, and then continue on your merry way. So folding those ones forward. These ones in the middle, they're not exactly straight across. You can see there's a little bit of a gap in here. So just fold gently on those score lines. And then these last diagonal lines, once again, fold them forward and open it back up. That's all you have to do. At this point, it becomes a squashable album. So to squash the album, you bring the left and right corners into the middle, and it should just fold on its own. So you can see these diamond shapes, they're going to squash inwards. So I'm grabbing the left and the right, they squash inward. And then you grab the left and right once again and fold inwards and it squashes. So you can see it's kind of a tight fit right here. Give it a little coaxing and that's it. So, I mean, I kind of have some things spilling out the edges just a little bit. It's so negligible, I can't even tell. And that, my friends, is the squash album base. Easy, right? It just requires the electronic cutting machine to cut this out. So if you're in a pinch, you can reach out to me. The problem with cutting things out, it's not, well, sometimes it's a matter of time, especially with really, really, really intricate and detailed cut files. That's why I just don't do it. Something like this doesn't take very long for my machine to cut out. It's just the gosh darn shipping. Shipping is so expensive. So something like this that doesn't even weigh hardly anything, but you have to put it in a box. So it costs like $6 or $7 just to ship. So it's an option though. You can always reach out to me. I want to make your dreams come true so you can create all of the things. But hopefully you can find a friend or a neighbor at the library or check Craigslist too. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I've found some machines. I have 6 Cricut machines that I use for cutting out cut files in bulk for classes and kits. And some of those I did find on Craigslist. People were practically giving them away. So where there's a will, there's a way. You can get an electronic cutting machine. I use it for so much of my scrapbooking. On these layouts behind me, probably 75% of the layouts, I use an electronic cutting machine. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining. Oh, I just love scrapbooking so much. Smiles. All right, the next step is cutting pattern paper squares that are gonna go in the squares and the triangles. For my sample, I cut 12, but because I want to cut some for the back, I need to cut additional squares. But they are all going to be at 2 3/4 inches. And again, this project is featuring the card making kit. So in the card making kit, it comes with 4 of each of the card designs. There are stickers and die cuts. There's also foam squares. Sorry, AC, but these foam squares don't work. They just don't stick. So I have tossed most of those actually, because what's the point? They don't stick. Okay, moving on. Comes with envelopes. The package of die cuts. There are 48 die cuts in this pack. Here are all of the cards. So 4 of each design, and some of these have different designs on the front and back. For example, this side is a pink geometric and the back is a pink floral. These ones are the same on both sides. It's a mini floral. These ones are the same. It's a fuchsia pink polka dot. Just downloaded the files and unable to open in Silhouette, and SVG says invalid. I'm sorry for the technology issues. If you can send me an email, I don't know how to pronounce your Jean-Ann, I'm sorry. Send me an email and I will help you out. This side has got stitches, and then the back side is a plaid or stripes, not plaid, just stripes. And then this one is the same on both sides. The card making kit also comes with stickers. These are washi tape borders, and then 4 pages of cardstock stickers. So I'm using essentially all the things from this kit plus a couple double-sided pattern papers. Let me put this away so my desk doesn't get too cray-cray. Put that away, and I'll bring in, so I did pull out 1 of each card. Why do I feel I'm missing one? The pink one, just a sec. I have a box of them. Spare ones. So this pink one. So grab 1 of each of the 5 cards. And in the supplies, I also stated that I used paper 1 and paper 8. So this, I've already cut into this because I don't want to cut into a full sheet if I have scraps, right? So use your scraps first. This is paper 1, although technically these papers aren't even numbered, which I don't know why that happened. So this is paper 1. It's got a beautiful floral on the A side and purple stripes on the B side. And then this is paper 8, which has this blue floral on the A side and a yellow floral on the B side. Friends, of course, you can use Amy, you're being too loud. You can use whichever papers you have on hand. You could use Lovely Lane. You could use Legendary. You could create a holiday-themed squash mini album. Use Halloween papers. Use Christmas papers. Just by changing the collection, you're going to get a completely different squash album. And I promise when I stop rambling and when we start making this really, and when it's finished, you're gonna see how easy breezy it is. And you'll want to make more and more and more. So we need to cut 2 3/4 inch squares. So I'm lining this up in my paper trimmer, 2 3/4, and I want more of this floral pattern, so I'm rotating it 2 3/4. I want 1 of each square or 1 of each design. So from this pink geometric, cutting a 2 3/4 inch square. From this pink floral, a 2 3/4 inch square. I'm just going to start making piles. From this card, because I want to fill the back side as well, and this stripy or this stitching section, you can get 2 different colors. So watch this. I am going to trim this to 2 3/4, and then trim it to 2 3/4, and it's actually exactly in half. So you don't even, right? Yes, you don't even need to cut it again. When you cut that side, you get 2 3/4 inch squares, and these look different. This one's got the blues and the purples. This one has the oranges and the yellows. But don't forget, the other side of the card is a different pattern. So I do want a 2 3/4 inch square from these pastel stripes. All right, moving on from the mini floral, let's get a 2 3/4 inch square. 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. From the pink polka dot, the fuchsia polka dot, let's get a 2 3/4 inch square. 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. For this card, I want two from this one. I used these on the front and back covers. So again, the easiest way to get 2 squares is to cut it to 2 3/4 on this side. Excuse me, talked a lot this weekend from teaching 3 classes at Frank Garcia Studio. And there we go, 2 3/4 inches, 2 3/4 inch squares by cutting on the long side. So from each card, you can actually get 4 2 3/4 inch squares. So you could make multiple of these squash mini albums just using the cards, and especially because the card making kit has 4 of each, either 4 or 5. I've already put it away. Oops, okay. From papers 8 and paper 1, I also want 2 squares so that I get the pattern on the front and the pattern on the back. So lining it up to 2 and 3, you know what? I'm gonna trim off from the top. It might be easier. So I'm trimming off that barcode strip, trimming it to 2 3/4, getting a 2 3/4 inch square from the front and the back. So I'll flip this one over so I have a square from both sides. So both the yellow floral and the blue floral. Last but not least, from paper 1. So paper 1 has the pink stripes on the B side and the floral on the A side. So 2 3/4. Here's 2 3/4 from the A side, and then 2 3/4, and I'll flip this paper over for the B side. Now, friends, I also, again, want to decorate the back. So I went into the die cuts. Okay, here's the die cuts. Into the die cuts that come with the card making kit. And there are 2 of these paper blocks. Check these out. So in my original sample, my original squash mini album, I did not use these, but I want to decorate the back too, and I want to use more pattern papers. And these come in the die cut pack, so they're perfect. So let's get a 2 3/4 inch square from both this floral card and this blue striped card. Again, these are in the die cut pack that come in the card making kit. If you're not using the card making kit, just cut more squares. If you're using the regular Happy Haven pattern papers like this, there's 12 double-sided pattern papers, so choose your favorites. You just want to end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 times 2 is 20. If you're going to decorate both sides, you want to end up with 20 squares that are 2 3/4 inches. Once again, 20 squares that are 2 3/4 inches. The instructions say 12, but that was before I decided to decorate the backside. The next step is cutting most of these in half. You want to keep 8 of them solid. We'll see if I can explain this. There are 8 squares or diamonds, whatever shape you want to call this. If they're face up like this, they're diamonds, but if you rotate it, they're squares. There are 4 of these solid diamonds on the front, 4 of these solid diamonds on the back. So we want to keep 8 of these squares solid. So I already know that I want to have this pink geometric, this fuchsia polka dot, white mini floral, and this pink floral. These are the ones I'm going to use on the front side. So I will set those aside. On the back side, I know I want to have these dark florals as the front and back squares. So when the album is squashed, these two right here in the center are going to be the papers that show on the front and the back. So that means I have two more squares that I need to figure out. And I did do some prep work. I don't know if I accounted for this though. Just a sec, my friends. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I did another one of those and one of these. I don't know why I did that, but all good. So on my, I've stitched around these, which I'll bring in a second, but I decided to cut another one of these squares, which is easy peasy. I'm just going to bring in my card base again and cut a 2 3/4 inch square. So I'll have two of this one. Put this one here, another pink geometric square, and how about this mini floral? The rest of these, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That doesn't seem like enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times 2 is 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need 4 more squares. Did I think of this? Oh, you know what it is? No, that's not it. Well, I need 4 more squares. So I am going to cut them from paper 1 and 8. Might as well, because I have those on the supply list. Let's just cut some more of those. So the front and back will have some repeating patterns, and I'm fine with that, especially because paper 1, you get different colors of flowers. So for example, this one right here, it's a mostly pink floral section, but if I cut another 2 3/4 inch square from this section, I'm getting blue and orange. I think this one's too small. That side is too small. So I needed 4 more squares. So let's cut one from the front and back of both paper 1 and 8. Sorry, I'm winging it. Hopefully this still makes sense, but just because I wanted to decorate the front and back, my numbers are slightly different. But the main takeaway is that you want to end up with 20 squares that are 2 3/4 inches. And I'm still using the same supplies, just the cards from the card making kit, paper 1 and paper 8, if you want to use the exact same things. Good morning from Puerto Rico. Good morning to a friend who was at Frank Garcia's studio this weekend. The fun doesn't stop. Okay, so from those 8 squares that I decided to keep as full squares, I'm going to set those aside. I really hope I've done my math right. I'm lacking sleep a bit, but all good. So these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, you know what? No, I don't know. We're just gonna keep going. So I'm gonna cut all of these squares in half diagonally to make triangles. So I'm lining it up in my paper trimmer from corner to corner and cutting these 12 squares in half diagonally to make triangles. And these are the ones that are going to fit on the triangle sections of our mini album. Oh, look at where all these people are chiming in from. Bothell, Budapest. Okay, when we moved to Germany, my husband was a dentist in the US Army, so we were stationed in Grafenwehr, Germany for 4 years. The very first destination that we went to was Budapest. And I remember this so vividly. We were walking along that river that goes through Budapest and just being like, what is this life? We are in Budapest. Because never in a million years growing up did I ever think that we would be in Budapest, Hungary. And when we lived in Germany, we visited 43 countries. Now, granted, in 8 hours from where we lived it took 8 hours to drive to Venice. You could go to like 4 different countries within an 8-hour span. You know, you go from Germany to Switzerland to Austria to Italy. So 43 countries, and I miss it every single day. I'm really hoping for our 20th anniversary that we get to go back. It'd be fun to do like a scrapbooking tour and teach around Europe again. I'm almost done cutting these squares into triangles. This one will do the front. Which one do I want? Orange? So with papers like this, where the B sides are all the same, right? It's always going to be these purple stripes, but I know I want to feature the A side. I get to pick which sides I want showing. So I want these two. Oh, that one's so pretty with all the little blue florals. However, I do have a lot of blue papers already. Sorry, they're off camera. I do have a lot of blue papers already, so maybe I'll stay away from blue. Sorry. So I'll do orange and this pink. I'm having a hard time making decisions. I haven't had all my caffeine yet today. Okay, so these 4, I'm going to use the purple side. These 4, I'm going to use the A side. Friends, the next step is optional, and that is machine stitching around all of these triangles and all of these squares. Let me bring in my sample so you can see the texture that this adds. So this is definitely a step that you need to do before adding the squares into the squash album. Otherwise, you'll be stitching through both sides and it could get a little messy. So yes, machine stitch. What time is it? It's 9:33. I'm trying to decide if I have enough time to do a sewing machine spiel. Do you want me to bring in my sewing machine really quick and just talk about machine stitching briefly? I know I talk about it a lot during my classes and some of my other Make With Me Mondays. Just a sec. Well, it's down here. And there's also a 20-second delay from when I'm talking to what I can see on the comments. So give you some time to reply, but maybe I'll just go for it. Okay. This is my sewing machine. It is a Brother LX 2500. What's happening? My cat's like, what's happening? And I purchased it at Walmart when Fox was just a wee baby, and he's turning 15 in October. So this machine is almost 15 years old, and I love it so much. It does everything that I need it to do. And what was I going to say? Oh, it was like $100 at Walmart. They don't make this exact one anymore, but I have linked to one that is very similar on Amazon. It's got the stitches, it's not digital, it's all like, I think the word is analog. It's not digital, so there's no buttons. It's all done by hand. Hello, Amy. She missed me, so she's very needy today. And what was I going to say? It's got several different stitches. The ones that I use most, okay, you can go now, are the basic running stitch, and the 2 has got the shortest, so the lines and the holes are really close together, up to number 6, which are spaced furthest apart. So the one I use most is number 6, sometimes number 5. Actually, with the squares and triangles that are quite small, I did bump it down to number 5. It's still on number 5 actually, from when I already pre-stitched through these. Also has some decorative zigzag stitches, which I use often in my scrapbooking for that quilt-like vibe. And then some super decorative stitches, which I haven't used as much, but when I have used it, it's really fun. So switch out your threads, do some decorative stitches, create a really fun background. I use a universal needle. So I don't have anything special. It's just a universal needle right here. Not a special paper, not a special fabric, just a universal needle. I also keep a couple tools in here, this to take off the needle if it ever breaks. Sometimes it breaks when I'm sewing through chipboard. Sometimes it just breaks. Needles don't last forever, so that's why you have to have the needles. I almost always use white bobbin thread. I'm having issues. I'm just gonna take that out. So I've got white bobbin down in the, I don't even know the terms, guys. I'm trying to teach you about sewing and I don't even know the terms, but I've got white thread down there in the bobbin, and I usually use white thread. Well, I shouldn't say usually, because I do have like 40 different colors of threads because I love to do tone on tone stitching. This is Coats & Clark all-purpose thread, and I have linked to it as well. And then, you know, all of these things on the machine, those are how you have to like thread it, and there's different things. So every machine is different as far as threading it, winding it, the bobbin, and the placement of all of the knobbies and things to get it to work. So when it comes to getting your actual machine to do what it needs to do, YouTube will be your best friend for setting it up and everything. But generally, you know, the machines are going to have the lever to lift up this footer piece. You're going to have a knob on the side. So here's my knob for making the needle go up and down so you can have precise movements. And then the pedal, which is on the floor, the pedal on the floor is how you make it go. Let me see if I can do one. I don't want to move any of my cameras, friends, so it's just going to be from this angle. I don't want to mess things up. So I do have classes where I show from this angle so you can see. But I am going to start at one corner, and I'm stitching about 1/8 of an inch away from the edge. And once I get to the corner, I use the lever on the side to make sure that my needle is down. I lift the footer. Oh, this is so complicated. I lift the footer, I rotate it 90 degrees, put the lever back down, and then continue stitching to the next corner. Stopping about 1/8 of an inch away, rotating the knob on the side to make sure my needle is down, lifting the lever, rotating it 90 degrees, put the lever down, stitch to the next corner, stopping 1/8 of an inch, rotating the lever to make sure the needle is down inside, the knob lifting, rotating, pressing down. Oh, sorry, my sewing machine was touching my laptop and doing weird things. And then this is the last one. So a square is a very easy shape to stitch. That's why this is a great project to start machine stitching if you've never tried it before. Some shapes can get very complicated to stitch around. Let me bring in something really quick, which I was going to show you at the end, but since we're talking about machine stitching, here is a memory decks card, and don't look too carefully because it's hard to stitch around these rounded parts, but you can get very intricate and very delicate with your machine stitching. But start simple. Start with squares and triangles. And G de Bayou is here, and I can't wait to talk about lots of fun things at the end. All right, friends, snapping my fingers, going to bring in my stitched elements. So I've gone ahead and machine stitched around all of my squares and all of my triangles. I'm not sure if I made enough triangles just based on what was happening here at the beginning. Let's go ahead and glue all of our squares and triangles onto our foundation. So I am going to use liquid glue. This is my absolute favorite adhesive. It's called Barely Art Precision Craft Glue. I've been using it for, I think, a few years now, and I rave about it. If you don't have this glue, you need it. So I'm just adding some liquid glue on the back and going to start placing my solid squares first. I showed those to you already, the eight squares that I have kept fully intact, not cut in half. They are just slightly smaller than the sections themselves. So center it inside of the section. I think the sections are 3 inches square and these squares are 2 3/4 inches. So there's just a little gap around the edges. Hello, hi everybody. So happy to have you here. Are there any questions at this point? I know we haven't done a whole lot yet, but now we're getting into the good stuff. We're getting into the decoration mode. Just some prep work in order to make it stand out. The machine stitching is absolutely optional. It's not serving any other purpose other than to look cute. I just love the texture that the machine stitching adds, just gives it some extra interest. So those are my 4 squares on the front. I'm going to flip it over and add my squares on the back side. So I'm using the dark floral squares. Remember, the front and the back are going to show on these 2 squares. Hello. Tabitha says she's popping in for lunch break. Which time zone are you in, Tabitha? I am in Mountain Time, so it's 9:43 a.m. here. So I had breakfast not too long ago, but of course I'm already thinking about lunch. And then I decided I want this pink geometric square. I'm going rogue at this point, friends. This is different than the sample that I made for the make and take because I want to decorate the backside. In my sample, I only added photos onto these ends, but now I'm adding pattern paper too. Now let's add the triangles. So I'm just following along in my sample. So looking at the photo, this photo is kind of tiny, but if you open it up on your laptop or phone, you should be able to zoom in and see which patterns I used where, or hopefully you can see here in the video. So here is a blue floral triangle. Again, these are slightly smaller than these sections, so you should be able to fit it right within the space where they belong. Adding all of these pattern papers is really going to start bringing this to life, especially with the machine stitching, with all that extra texture. Oh, that's fun to say. I am looking for paper number 1, which is a floral. And then remember from the stitching card, we have some that are in the blue, the cool family, and some that are in the warm family. So I'm going to grab a cool colored stitches. So look, we're all in different time zones, but we're all here celebrating our love of paper, stickers, scissors, and glue. I love it. Okay, so here is a yellow floral from paper 8. And now here is pastel stripes. This is a pastel stripes card. Okay, so our top section is complete. Moving on to the bottom section. So here I'm going to add a warm colored triangle. And another yellow floral. So we had 2 pieces, right? When you trim the square in half, you get 2 pieces. So we'll use both of them here. My rhyme and reason behind this is I'm trying not to place 2 of the same triangle next to each other, right? So here's my 2 yellows. Here's my 2 pastel stripes. Here are my 2 stitches. And next is a purple stripe. So my purple stripes aren't next to each other. And then a blue floral. So my blue florals are on opposite sides. And last but not least, another floral from paper 1. Now we're going to flip it onto the back side and see what I cut and pre-cut. Front side. Let's see if it still squashes. This should go up. So bring the sides in. Oh, it's fun. See, I didn't have these patterns on my original sample, so it's fun to see those. And then squash it in. So it's a tight squeeze with all of these papers, but it works. Fun. Now let's see what happens when we add papers on the back, if it's still gonna squash, because it's quite thick. All right, flipping it over, and then these are the triangles that I have left. So friends, at this point, I'm going rogue. But let me see, let's add a triangle here. So it looks like I cut a second square from the pink card, the fuchsia pink card. So let's have those ones on opposite sides. I've got more of this floral. I don't want, let's do that. How about a blue floral? And then I've got some stitches, but I don't particularly love the stripes on stripes. But that one's good. Oh, here's the problem. I don't want that next to each other. Ooh, decisions. Oh, I like that. I like that, but I don't like having white above white. A white background above a white background. So if I switch that, yeah, that looks good. Yes, it'll be saved. If you missed anything, it'll be saved for rewatching, so then you can go at your own pace and craft along. All of my Make With Me Monday videos are saved. I think this one's gonna go a little bit longer than an hour. So if you have to go, I totally understand. I know some people are chiming in from work. Some people, it's the middle of the night. So that's why we save these, so you can rewatch and make at your own leisure. Oh, this is going to be so thick. I hope it closes. If it doesn't close, then maybe decorating the backside isn't going to work, but you never know till you try. But maybe try before you go live in front of an audience. It's okay. It's all good. If I mess up, I can, well, we'll roll with the punches, but I could always just cut a new base and start again. But really hoping it still squashes. Just a few more square, or these are triangles, a few more triangles to add. Then we'll talk photos and embellishments and the Ric Rac pieces to tie it closed. Okay, 2 more. I know, gluing isn't the most fascinating thing to watch, but we gotta do what we gotta do to get our paper pieces in place, huh? Okay, I'm so nervous. Will this still close? Okay, collapsing. Oh, it's a little bit of a tight squeeze, but hey, I'll count it as a win. Woohoo! It still closes. It's a tight squeeze, friends, so if you want to, you can trim some of these to make them smaller so they're not getting as smooshed. But you know what? I'm fine with it. I like having bits and bobbles sticking out from my edges. It looks like these ones. Maybe if you glued these edges down, even more, they wouldn't stick out. So there's that tip for you. These edges are just hanging off because I didn't add glue all the way to the edges. So just make sure your edges are glued down and you should be golden. Fantastic. All right, let's embellish. I want to do the front and the back and also add my Ric Rac, which technically you should do as you're adhering these squares down, but that's okay. We can always just carefully tear it off and staple them in place. So I have 2 pieces of Ric Rac that are 6 inches. I'm going to grab a tiny attacher. This is from Tim Holtz. And you need to attach it. Oh, look, I didn't even add glue under this, so we're good to go. You need to attach it onto the front and back pieces. So I am holding it in place with my left hand and going to staple it in place twice. Eventually, I'm going to cover up this so you don't really see that. On the back side, though, I didn't add extra embellishments. So on my sample, you can see I've just got Ric Rac hanging on there, which it's not my favorite. So I'll probably add a sticker to hide that. Or you can try stapling it on the back side, so underneath. But then you'll still have the staples, so you'll still have to disguise the staples somehow. And this now is how the album will tie shut. So, right, when you collapse it from the front side, you'll use these Ric Rac pieces to tie it in a bow. Or you can just tie a loose knot so that you can get into it easier. Let's decorate the front side while I have it collapsed like this. So now is when I'm going to start bringing in my stickers and die cuts, and I have my photos on standby. All right, so here are some die cuts that I've pulled. Here are some stickers. Let me move. I don't need my stapler anymore. Don't need my scissors. I do need my glue. Okay. On the cover, I have added this scalloped oval frame die cut. Did I pop it up? I did not pop it up with foam squares, but I did bend up these scalloped edges so that there's more dimension. I just love having dimension on my projects. I say this often, but paper is 2D. So by adding dimension and foam squares, you get those shadows, which make things literally pop off the page. And then I added a couple stickers, but I also popped some of them up with foam. So I'm gonna have my foam tape, my foam squares here. I added what is that? A peach flower. So this flower right here, the center of this page from the stickers that come in the card making kit. Added this at the bottom. And then I'm adding 2 sentiment stickers or 2 word stickers. This one that says sweet, I'm adding right at the top of this one that says heart and attaching them with foam squares. I wonder if I have foam tape to make this go faster. So here is the word that says heart. I'm going to attempt to use my foam tape roll. So adding foam tape across the top. Mine is so narrow that I can actually fit two pieces of foam tape across the back, and then this way none of the sticker will sag or droop. If you add foam across the entire back, that will keep the whole thing on the same plane. So adding this heart right above, centered, and then that word sweet is right here. Did I add foam underneath that? I did. I wonder if it's less than 1/8 of an inch. So I'm adding foam tape on the back. My foam tape is very narrow. I just got it off of Amazon. It's only 1/8 inch wide, so even with something super tiny like this, you don't see it, which I like. So adding the word sweet above the heart, of course, depending on what photos and what you're documenting, you can change up the sentiment. And there are a lot of sentiments in these stickers and in the die cut. So like this one, you are magic. That's great for an everyday album. There's yay, say you're celebrating something. There's love. There's best wishes. Maybe you want to give this to somebody as a going away present, you know, best wishes. So a lot of different titles that you could use for this mini album. So for the back side, I didn't add anything yet, but let's start working on the inside and then we'll see what happens. Let me get my sample out right here. We'll just finish adding the photos that I originally added on this side. Okay, so I know in the instructions, where did I put them? In the instructions, I told you some photo sizes. I said 5 2-inch square and 2 4-inch square. And I did have somebody reach out asking about the 4-inch square because the squares of this mini album are 3 inches, right? But here's what happened. I started these photos at 4 inches square and then trimmed them into the diamond shape so that they would be straight up and down. Otherwise, if you have a 4-inch square photo, or if you have a 2-inch square photo like this, and you stick it down like this, it's sideways. But I wanted these ones slightly larger because they're kind of more of my favorite photos. So to get them the diamond shape, you have to start them as 4-inch squares and then trim them down to the diamonds, which these ones are 2 inches, right? So they're still 2 inches square, but the orientation is up and down. I hope that makes sense. Sometimes I can't explain very well, but they're 2-inch squares, but I wanted them up and down, so they started as 4-inch squares, trimmed to the diamond shape. The rest of these, I'm actually going to have not in the diamond shape. They'll just be squares. You'll see. So here I added these 2 photos and then embellished with little bits, all from the card making kit. So this one says XOXO, a little sticker over on the corner. And then on this side, I added one of the die cuts. So I like how all of these die cuts and sentiments are small, which are perfect for these very small areas. Little floral die cut up here at the top. I'm not going to work on the back side right now for time's sake. I want to finish up the front, but look how it looks now. In my original sample, I didn't have pattern paper behind those 2 photos, but I really like the way it looks with the pattern papers. Pattern paper is my absolute favorite scrapbook supply. The more I can include, the merrier. So love that little addition of the pattern paper squares behind those photos. Inside, when I'm working on a project like this, I like to add the biggest embellishments first. And my actually, strike that, rewind. A project like this, I started with my photos. So I knew I wanted to fill in most of these with pictures. So I printed some photos. These were taken in outside of Aspen, Colorado, on our way to do the Maroon Bells hike. We just came across these open fields that were full of dandelions, and we had to pull over and take photos. So that's what these are from. And these are printed at 2-inch square, and you can see I'm keeping them in the square shape, so they're not rotated on the side. Keeping these as squares, and they're printed at 2 inches so that they can fit inside these spaces. And I'll show you how to attach these so that they don't get squashed. It kind of becomes like a pop-up book, and it's all based on how you attach things. So, for example, on these squares, these ones, you can attach things to the centers and not have to worry about them getting squashed. These ones in the middle are good to go and be adhered. So I am attaching, actually that's not the photo I wanted right here. This is the one, but they're very similar. So I'm adding a photo, a 2-inch square photo right in the middle, making sure the corners aren't overlapping any of the seams. If there's anything overlapping the seams, it's going to get squashed. And although this is a squash album, we don't want things to get squashed unintentionally. There's a way to do this. So these full squares in the middle keep things contained within this space, no overlapping the edges. Now for these triangle ones, we only add adhesive on the back half. So for this photo right here, I'm flipping it over and I'm adding adhesive just on the back half, the left side, and pressing it in place within the confines of this triangle. Now let me get the other one attached and I'll show you how this works. So for this one, I want to attach it onto the right triangle. So I'm flipping it over and I'm adding adhesive on the back right side and then pressing it in the confines of this section within this triangle. Now watch what happens when you fold it up. So with these photos, the ones that are only half attached, they are still able to squash. Okay, so that's why it's very important to only add adhesive on half of it. If you adhere the whole thing, it's just going to get bent and smooshed, and that's not the right smooshing. So there we go. That's how you attach photos, over the triangles, is by adding adhesive only on half of it. Same thing goes for embellishments. In center areas, you can add, I need my paper piercer to pick things up. You can add embellishments across the entire back because it doesn't get squashed. And I do want to bend up these scallops as well. All of these die cuts are from the die cut pack in the card making kit. So here's a larger one, adding it right onto this pink polka dot section. And then for this bird die cut, we're going to do the same strategy where we're only going to add adhesive on half of it. Now this stem is a little too long, like you can have it, but I feel like the stem doesn't even need to be there. So I'm just gonna cut it off. You don't have to do that, but I feel like it fits better now in this area. So add adhesive only on half of it so that it'll still bend and squash into place like a pop-up book. So just on half, And we'll do this again with a few more die cuts. Here is a single flower die cut. So I'm going to attach it onto this triangle. So only add adhesive on the back half and press it onto one of the triangles. So then this will still squash. I should probably wait for it to dry. Let me wait a few moments before squashing it. Here's another die cut. This one says love. So I'll attach it onto, well, I've done the left sides of these triangles, so I'm going to do it on the right side of this triangle. So it's overlapping the crease, but because I only have adhesive on half of it, it should bend. What else? Oh, a little butterfly die cut. So this one I want to have at the top of this photo. What are we going to do though to make sure it squashes correctly? We're only going to add adhesive on the back half of it. So adhesive, it's only being attached to this side of the triangle so it can still bend up. I have a little clustering of die cuts up here. So in stickers, here is a tiny flower die cut. I'm adding this in this section up here, and then I'm going to start bringing in some stickers. So here we go. From this sticker page, this one says, "You are my forever person." I'm embellishing quite minimally, friends, right? This is a small mini album, but already just by adding the photos and some die cuts, it's getting filled in quite nicely. From this page with stickers, let's grab this butterfly and add it to the bottom of this photo. Don't have to worry about attaching things halfway on these center sections, which is nice. So I'll grab this bee die cut. It's not a die cut, this is a sticker, a bee sticker, and overlap this guy on the right side of the photo. Did I add anything else from this page? Doesn't look like it, but I reserve the right to come back to it if I see anything that I missed. From this page with all the flowers, I'm grabbing this teeny tiny blue flower, adding it to this section, and I want a little ladybug cluster to finish off this little cluster of embellishments. Ta-da! Yellow flowers. So let's add a yellow flower. Very meta. Yellow on yellow. Friends, for my sample, this is all that I did. Now, there is still quite a bit of room if you want to continue adding embellishments. Again, when I was making this originally, it was for a make and take at the Tilted Brick store in Longmont. So I couldn't go crazy with adding all of the things that I would do if it was my own personal project. But there's definitely still space if you're using the card making kit to add additional die cuts and stickers. There's even empty triangles where you can add journaling. I would do printed journaling strips. Let's see if we have enough for the back side. Add a photo here. We'll just do It's kind of fun. Right now, I am winging it. I do not do this very often. Usually I plan in advance because I get overwhelmed and a little stressed when I don't know what I'm doing. But I'm gonna give this a try. I got this. So adding photos, I don't know. Oh, I like that better. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Nothing in the centers. I think I like that. So for these ones though, I wonder if I can even add photos if they're gonna get squashed because of this center seam. These ones go backwards, so you can't do that. You can't add photos across any of these seams, guys, because they get squashed. Ah, see, I'm so glad that I figured that out before attaching my photos. So you would have to score. I wonder if I can score in the middle of these and make them work. Let's just fold it in half. So a photo like this going across these triangles on the back side, that same technique doesn't work because of the way it folds. So this one, you would have to have a crease. All right, I might just be adding embellishments onto this, but if you fold it in half, and if you have one half not attached, does that work? It's not dry yet. At this point, I might just do the rest of this off camera and then share finished pictures on my blog and in my Facebook group, just because you know, we've already gone over an hour and you get the gist, you get the idea, right? But I do need to do some thinking about how photos would work on here. I think that's what would have to happen is folding them. Hold on. Yeah. So across the seam, but I don't like the way that that flaps up. So I have some thinking to do about the back side. I do still want to add some decorations and embellishments and everything, but yeah, I can't do things without a plan in place. So my apologies about that, but friends, I hope you enjoyed learning how to make at least the front side, and the back side is almost done. I just have to do some tweaking and figuring things out. But I will add some more embellishments. If you're using the card making kit, you still have, there is a bird being very loud. I'm trying to teach. You have a lot of stickers and a lot of die cuts left to fill up this squash mini album. So that's that. Yeah, when you're done, you squash it up. Squash it. My photo, come on. I know you want to squash. Squash it. Tie it in a bow. I have to use my legs to collapse this. Just a second. I'm still here. I'm just tying it in a bow. Tying it in a bow off camera because I need more than 2 hands to do this. There you go. So yeah, it turns into a little chunkster, and it's really fun and quick and easy. Once you've got that die cut, the base die cut out, cut your papers, stitch your papers optionally, adhere them in place, add your photos. I'm gonna switch it back to my face and keep talking to you. If you are wanting to listen and hear about all the things that are coming up, could you cut the photo in half to put on the back side and glue each half on? Yes. Let me show you what she means, and that's genius. Thank you so much. That's just another reason why I love having you guys here. So what she's saying is, cut this photo in half. You also have to be mindful of what you're cutting in half, right? So I'm not cutting my husband's face in half, but with, for example, this photo, let me switch it back, sorry. For example, this photo, if I were to cut it in half, I would cut myself in half exactly. So that wouldn't be the best photo to do this with. A photo like this where it's just flowers, that could work, absolutely. So just be mindful of what you're cutting in half. But then she's saying you can glue the halves. Oh, my glue, come on. Be nice. You can glue the halves on either side with that tiny space between, and that is a genius solution. Thank you so much. Glad I caught that. Oh, Okay, Tabitha says, I was able to make it without a cutting machine and posted what I did in the Facebook group. So once the live is over, once I've cleaned up and everything, I will go to my Facebook group and approve that post so you can see how to create the base without a cutting machine, she says. That's awesome. See, you guys, you're so helpful. You can make me cry with happy tears. Okay, so, oh, I wanted to show how it squashes. So yes, that's a great idea to have the photo across the seam like that. So then when it's squashing, where is it? What part of my photo? Oh, it's right down in here. So it's getting smooshed here, smooshed in half, and all is good. So genius idea. Thank you so much. Do you print your photos? I did. I printed my photos at home. I have two printers. I have one that does 8.5 by 11, and I have a Canon Pro 100, which I got a million years ago, but it's a wide format printer, so I can print photos up to 13 inches by like 19 inches. I also use Adobe Photoshop to create my collages and send them off to Walgreens, but I know that Photoshop is an expensive app. My uncle works at Photoshop, so he gets me the hookups. So I recommend free apps like Pick, Tap, Go or Print to Size. I believe that they are free. It's one of those things that I need to do myself so that I can actually figure it out and start recommending it and actually know how to use it. Like instead of endorsing it without knowing, I need to do it so that I can endorse it with full confidence. But I know that that's what Vicki Booten uses to get small photos. Any other questions? Cool. I want to talk about a few things with you if you'll have me. You might have seen Andrea Lake and Becky Adams here in the chat. My next big thing is with them. We are doing a virtual event called Happy Haven Weekend. We're going to teach you how to make 12 by 12 layouts. Here's a sneak peek of my 6 layouts. So I'm teaching 6 layouts. Andrea is teaching 4 layouts. And Becky is doing a video premiere, so a video where she'll be there in the comments. So here are my 6 layouts. There's paper pieced bows, there's some stamping, there's some hand stitching, there is some fringing, there's some distressing and some washi taping. So we're going to learn how to create those 6 layouts in a live 3-hour class. I'm also going to teach you how to make this mini album in a live 3-hour class. It's actually from the same trip as these photos that I just used in the squash mini album. So it is handmade with my Happy Haven collection, and it's got some flip ups and some flip outs, and it has a lot of photos inside, which I know some people appreciate. Sometimes my layouts don't have too many photos, but mini albums is where I get to shine and add a lot of photos. So I'm teaching that, as well as I have a Memory-Dex video premiere. Remember I showed you that Memory-Dex card? Oh, here it is. So this Memory-Dex card, I have a video showing you how to make it, and I also go through what a Memory-Dex is, what's the point, and I show a lot of examples of Memory-Dex cards. Let me grab this link really quick. I think we don't have a ton of kits left. Oh, I can't copy and paste. Hold on. I'm shaking. Copy link and paste. Can I pin that? I don't use the YouTubes too much, but I know people have done it. How do I get to it? Pin message. Yay, it's at the top. I think we only have like 9 kits left. So Andrea is teaching 4 12 by 12 layouts. She's filling a custom sequin album by G de Mayo in Brazil. She's also doing a Memory-Dex premiere, so she'll be there in the comments. And then Becky, like I said, she's doing 12 by 12 layouts, 2 of them with project or with kit leftovers. So it is $300 for the kit and the access to the entire virtual weekend, which the videos will be saved and recorded so you can watch at any time, because I know some people, live in Australia and can't be there during the lives. So that's why we record the videos, and they'll be available to you forever, unless something happens to YouTube. But of course, we can figure that out as things come up. And what else was I going to say? There is virtual access only, that option too, if you have Happy Haven already. However, just know that there are a few additional things that we did use, like that sequin album, some pre-cut cut files, and templates, etc. So, Happy Haven Virtual Weekend, it is happening September 20th and 21st. So just about a month from now, that's a Saturday and Sunday, from the comfort of your own home. Come learn how to make so many projects with me. I'm so excited. Andrea's excited. Becky's excited. This was our plan B for our in-person event here in Colorado earlier in the month. We just didn't know which collection we'd be able to use, so we made all of these projects, and then we were able to use Lovely Lane. So now we're able to teach these layouts and mini albums virtually from the comfort of your own home, wherever you are in the world. So grab a kit. I'm so excited for that event, and that's happening in September. I talked to Kinnery this morning, so my Lovely Lane and Legendary order should be shipping this week. So if you pre-ordered Lovely Lane and Legendary from me, that should be shipping to you soon. I know it's a little bit later than some of the other stores like scrapbook.com and A Cherry on Top already have it. So I think I'll be able to send you like a link to some layouts that you can make with it as a thank you for your patience. So info about that will be going out soon. Speaking of Pink Fresh Studio, we will be announcing and releasing my Christmas collection at the beginning of September, maybe even the second week of September, but that's coming up so soon and I'm so excited. Yes, I am planning to do a Christmas kit and class using a 6x8 sequin album in collaboration with G de Mayo in Brazil. So it's going to be 6x8 in size. On the cover, it has a window, so you'll be able to see things peeking through or embellished on top. I'm so excited about that. Also with G de Mayo, we are doing another micro sequin album. Well, not another, because this was an exclusive to Lovely Lane weekend, but we have another option for these micro sequin albums coming out soon, because I know these are so freaking adorable. Tiny is so cute. I know they say bigger is better, but micro is magnificent. And we also have one more collaboration. Well, I'm sure we could come up with a million more, but an ugly sweater sequin album. When G sent me the video, I literally screamed out loud, and my kids were like, "What? What's wrong?" I was like, no, it's a good scream. It's so cute. So she's popping the sample in the mail to me this week, and then I'll be able to take pictures, put it up for pre-order, but just, you can't even imagine how cute this ugly sweater is, and it's a mini album. But the Christmas kit and class will be in the 6x8 using my Pink Fresh collection. I hope I can do a bonus class with maybe the what is it called? Hard Candy, that super cute collection with simple stories. We shall see. So many ideas, so little time, but I try to make it all happen. Are you doing classes with a Legendary kit, or will it just be the Legendary and then maybe classes later or posts on your site? So I did just teach a class with Legendary. It was a mini album at Frank Garcia Studio. So I think I can include the PDF with that purchase if you pre-ordered Legendary. I'm also using Legendary at She Loves Color to do 4 layouts, but I can't post instructions or a class to that or anything until after the event. So that's happening in October. Oh, one more thing. If you're coming to the Crafting Through the Holidays event with me and Lael and Vicky in Texas next month, here's my project. I'm so excited. I love Halloween. I know a lot of people coming to the event don't love Halloween, but I hope that they make this mini album anyway and you can give it away as a gift. But I'm just so excited. Guys, it has been a pleasure. I'm sorry for taking up a little more than an hour of your time. If you're here on the replay, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to like and subscribe. Give it a thumbs up. Scrapbooking is my passion. I love it so much. Sometimes it could be a little overwhelming, just because I have so many ideas and so many things I want to do and provide and all that, but I love it. I love it so much, and I'm so grateful for you for being here and supporting my passion, purchasing the kits, purchasing the classes, being here for the lives, and all your positive affirmations, your ideas. And so a huge thank you to you. Thank you so much. And I am looking forward to all the things that are coming our way in the coming months, especially with the holidays. So that's all I have for now. I hope to do another Make With Me Monday next month, make it a monthly thing again. And so until then, if you ever have questions, send me an email, send me a DM, and I will get right back to you. Thank you so much, friends. I hope you have a happy, scrappy day, and I will see you again soon, hopefully sooner than later. Bye, friends.